This is a journey into sound.
This is just my fifth year as a one-man band. I think I started off in like 2008, 2009, just when I was out of school,
Okay.
entering college, and that's when I began. I'm actually living on my 40% of my lungs, where that was my life changer. I'm actually a victim of passive smoking, so
Oh,
uh, without a first-hand experience of smoking, I was affected because of the surrounding. I used
oh,
to work in a call center,
yeah.
uh, and my college had a big role to play in this. Like the friend circle, of course.
Yes.
Um, so I was actually kind of on my deathbed, and figuring out whether what is going to happen to me, because I was this young lad who
Mm.
already was playing a lot of musical instruments, and had a lot of things to do in my life, but everything came crashing down when I was, told that, hey, you're just gonna be hit by tuberculosis. So yeah, I was in the first stage of tuberculosis. I lost 60% of my lungs. I have two holes in my chest as I speak right now. Of course, I'm recovering, but the entire story of a one-man band just has one motive, saying that this is a problem I did not call for. It's
Mm.
not that I introduce myself to something which will make me a very viable person to kind of get introduced with this kind of an illness. Whereas my message through this is that we come across so many problems in our lives, and sometimes we don't know what comes our way. You know,
Yeah.
However, how you deal with it. For me at that time, and even now, it's all about two things, which is my faith.
Yeah.
I knew that through this, God definitely has a different story,
Mm.
because I wanted to be a drummer. I'm actually just a drummer. I'm just a regular drummer who couldn't make his way through, and because of my love for music, I picked up other instruments, and the entire thing goes on to say that even though doctors told you that you can't even play like a regular flute, now I have become this kind of person who's, unlike any other regular musician who carries like a 5 kilo guitar, or
Yeah.
that's pretty much how much it weighs. My
Yeah.
contraption has kind of touched 27 kilos. Your regular gas cylinder is just 16 kilos.
माँ तुझे सलाम माँ तुझे सलाम माँ तुझे सलाम ओ माँ तुझे सलाम
And how a regular individual, a normal person, came out of an illness. What was the driving force behind it, or what, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for the willpower,
Mm.
and that, hey, even though life has completely struck you down for something you did not do, how are you going to face? So that's the entire story basically, because I had this kind of dream where God showed me about something I drew in, when I was in school, and stuff like that, and it had multiple instruments to do with me, and yeah, basically there was this dream which was like, how about you put all these musical instruments and put them together and play? I was like, that's Mickey Mouse's job. That's the only reference I have.
Nice.
But then I did my research and I kind of figured this out. I got to know that, yeah, people are doing this. And then came the question of whether can I do it? I'm really just struggling to breathe. So if I had to breathe for like, if I had to regularly breathe, I had to take 6 or 7 seconds pause between every breath, and I had to make a conscious effort to, keep myself going. So life was tough, but now I am this person who carries all these instruments. It's not just about carrying and telling that, hey, now you're strong. I'm not strong, but um, it's about then you be a musician, then you learn how to play all these musical instruments. Uh, People kind of try to learn one instrument and then they just give up.
Yeah.
How is it that a man can ever learn so many instruments? So I've counted till about, I still have 35 musical instruments at my house.
Okay.
45 is the number I have, but probably those are instruments which back then were really expensive for me, like a saxophone, a drum kit, which I never could own at that time.
Yes.
Now that I have them, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all about that. So I always say that, hey, if life strikes you down, it's okay. Just learn how to trust God in that situation. Like the world will give up. Even your parents can't do anything. You have to survive on your own. But in the end of the day, for me, music is just a story. It's just my, it's just the card that I can show off. For you, it may not be music. It can be something else.
Yeah.
You might be good at something else. But yeah, I'm using my musical journey to not only play music. So I do the best I can. If you actually go through my videos, I personally wouldn't boast of them as a musician, but I will boast of it as, if I have to say, do you have the ability to do it? Like, can you do it?
Yeah.
If you raise your hand like, hey, tu acha nahi bajata hai. I like, tu itna to baja ke bata.
Yeah.
And it's in this 5 years, I have transformed from like, the first kit was made of steel. The frame was made of steel. It was like a regular bass drum. The second one was kind of combined with a wooden frame.
Okay.
Then what I use right now is I have tech involved in it. So I've evolved as a person. I've started from zero. I've evolved. So now if you listen to me, it's not like what you would hear on a Vande Mataram video, which is a little, it's got a little more views than my other videos. So if you listen to me now, you close your eyes and you won't realize it's just one person. In fact, just yesterday, my 5th TEDx talk was out and I was just hearing it. I was like, whoa, I go back to my first TEDx and I was like, oh shit, I want that off of YouTube. But then you see that it takes you from a different level. And on the same time, it was not just about just playing and entertaining and using my story as an inspiration. I've always had this urge or this desire to answer people, as a musician, since, like everybody just keeps asking, hey, can you teach me and stuff like that. So I fell in love with this instrument called the ukulele. And since the last year now, I have been running this institute or a brand called UK Experience.
Okay.
And we've got a very strong community of ukulele players, and that's going to be the next number one thing in India, because we aim to get the quality of music. Now everybody buys ukulele as a gifting, like a gift or like a toy, just because you can buy it at 2,000 rupees, you can play it in a span of 2 hours. But what we don't realize is that it's a musical instrument at the end of the day, and it talks to you just like the guitar does. So my dream with UK Experience is to make people understand that, hey, you can just strum also if you want to relax, but don't underestimate. In fact, I use ukulele as a example of saying, you can't just look at the size and go like, hey, it's like a kid thing.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of things.
Sound, isn't it?
I would exhaust my story now. Yeah.
It's a completely, the thing is, what I think you were trying to get at with all of this, and this is just an assumption from my end, is that there are two different things. There's strength and there's resilience. You see, strength is something
Right.
that is measured in different ways. You might be physically strong, you could be mentally strong.
Absolutely.
Resilience is something, it's more of an ability to face a situation, to win by the end of it all through sheer
Yeah.
hard work, through sheer determination, and
Yeah.
also through the process of growing nerves of steel. So I think there's a big difference between that. And I
Absolutely.
think what
Absolutely.
your story revolves around is about resilience. Look at all this. All of this happened to me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
a person whose
Right.
my primary focus in life is has to do with my voice,
Uh-huh.
has to do with my lungs.
Mm.
And what do you do when you lose so much of that, and then
Yeah.
at the end of the day you're like, okay, so I'm gonna I maybe did not succeed as a drummer, but then I'm going to succeed as
Yeah.
something else that involves drums and do it in a way that no one else is doing.
Absolutely.
Is this coordination like a result of a lot of hard work and practice, or did it just sort of like come to you? What was the, because it's some crazy coordination.
I would so so I wouldn't lie and tell you that I practice for long hours and stuff like that. It's I would just put it in a simple way that it's a gift I've been given. And yeah, I know of people who have done it with a lot of hard work,
Yeah.
but I'm not one of them.
Okay.
So I don't know the journey of doing that. However, I don't stick to what I'm just doing. I've been doing a
Yeah.
lot of double bass and a lot of other crazy things which are in the picture right now. And I've never put out my music, but yeah, I don't put that out on any media. But yeah, of course, it's coming out right now, and that has a lot of crazy things which, in 5 years, what people have seen
Hmm.
is kind of different from what they're going to be seeing
Yeah.
up ahead. Yeah. So I'm going to be releasing my music, which has a lot of not just ability, but a lot of skill and
Yeah.
all of that effort.
And this
So
is
yeah,
all one man band, is it? The every
it's
single
only one man band.
so, yeah.
Absolutely.
So you haven't used anyone else, or
No,
it-
nor have I recorded parts separately. This is my only recorder.
no.
This is my, yeah. So this fits on my back,
Yeah.
and it has its own place on my kit.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I have a slot for two drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, one drum, a second drum. I have a mic. I have a guitar. This goes off. There are two other inputs, and yeah, and I
Yeah.
just hit the record button. And when I go for a show, I just give them an EP out from here.
So I've also done that a lot. There are many times that I've just plugged the Zoom and I've taken a line out into the mixer, and that's all you need actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Like her, I want your love. Your love was handmade for somebody like me. Coming out full of my lead, and I may be crazy, don't mind me. Say, boy, let's not talk too much. Grab on my waist and put that body on me. Coming out full of my lead, coming out full of my lead.
You get a lot of shows. I mean, are they what kind of shows are the ones that you?
So mostly I perform for a lot of corporate events.
Okay.
That's kind of where my space is. I would, if I have to have a ratio between just performances, and it's a 50-50.
Yeah.
50% of people I perform for are just looking for the music, for the fancy thing they want on their show.
Yeah.
If I do weddings, that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for my story.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff I do for parties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But my main arena, like my entire gameplay works on corporate events where I
Yeah.
go as a musician come speaker,
Yeah.
where I get to share this. So I've been speaking to a lot of companies with the kit. So I do like a 20 to 30 minute
Okay.
show, and that's pretty much how it has been. Of course, if it was just apart from one man band, I mean, playing like with a guitar or the keyboard or like with a ukulele, that's just like any other musician
Yeah,
does. Like, just go and entertain people for like an hour. And
yeah,
that's pretty much, yeah, it's so both the kind of situations are different in their own way.
yeah.
Oh, is that your cat?
Yeah. You would see actually four of
Yeah.
them running up and down. So they're part of all the podcasts and the
Mm.
So
Sorry. Yeah.
yeah. So actually the thing is, so I don't for the lack of a better word, what I think is
Hmm.
that there are two sides to the one man band. One is the absolute raw talent of you
Hmm.
playing all those instruments and the wow factor, and the other factor is actually the gimmick factor that comes in. That people want
Right.
you in there because it's something to look at also. Like, oh my God, this guy's
Right.
walking around stage with all of this stuff. How does he do it?
Right.
And they're trying
Right.
to figure out how you're playing how you're switching between the flute and something else or whatever. So I think that is
Yeah.
also there. I think that's great because
Yeah.
that's 50% of what you are. Is
Absolutely.
something that you're doing different. So do you think with the
Yeah.
corporate shows and all of that, do you think I mean, I don't want to assume, so I'm going to ask you this.
Hmm.
Why do you actually
Okay.
think, what is the actual reason do you think that they invite you, Gladstone, and only you, Gladstone, for what you're doing?
Right.
Like, I mean, what do you think that is? Do you think it's a coordination exercise? Do you think it's something they want to show, inspire their people? Like, if you could.
Uh, I would say 70% to 75% of the time, it's all about they kind of go through my story and they
Yeah.
look at it as a person who never gave up
Hmm.
despite going through all of this, and how they related to their situation is probably they're having a rusty time in
Hmm.
their company, and they want their employees to look at something a little, not just a speaker who will come and inspire them with words,
Yeah.
but you get a music package. Like, you, who doesn't love music?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I play hits like, like Gulabi Aankhe and stuff like that. So that's got nothing to do with inspiration.
Yeah.
But once I play a Gulabi Aankhe, bro,
Yeah.
everybody is gonna listen to whatever I say.
Yeah.
So that's where that's my sweet spot. As much as I would like to play like a local train or something like that, which is a musician to musician conversation.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, you get a song like Gulabi Aankhe, like the entire country is just gonna sing. So you don't have to sing it anymore. And um, basically what happens is all the stress
Yeah.
that their manager or
Yeah.
their HRs are looking at
Yeah.
um, kind of goes away, understanding that, okay, you're not just going to be listening to someone who never gave up. So it's okay. I think you guys are facing issues too,
Yeah.
but let's listen to this person as to how he changed his negative into positive. So let's try
Yeah.
to apply that in our collateral environment. And of course, just to throw in some fancy stuff, you get some music along, and yeah, so that is pretty much how it goes.
So the thing is that now you've reached the zenith. The only thing you can do is add more instruments. But in
Right.
terms of your life, what is your wish, your hope, your dream for for the future? Is it performing on a world stage? Is it releasing your own albums and see them get somewhere? Or I mean, what,
Right.
what what is sort of like your next step?
Yeah. So I'm looking at wha- a one man band thing has never seen a big platform.
Yeah.
So far, I would say I have been a little more privileged than the other one man bands, because most of them have been doing it for 30, 40, 50
Hmm.
years. At least the ones I am connected to, the oldest one man band is turning just 70 this year. All right. And he's still performing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But these guys have never seen the light of performing alongside a Coldplay or,
Ah.
main staging, something like that. So yeah, I mean, if you ask me, one of the things I'm really looking for in the long run, I don't know when it'll happen, but uh, to imagine one person standing in for a halftime game and trying to imagine that kind of
Yeah.
an experience. I'm
Awesome.
not sure how that's possible, but I'm just never afraid to dream big. So
Yeah.
I mean,
It's written on your
yeah.
T-shirt, man. right there.
One of my
No,
favorite t-shirts.